The long-awaited RTD G-Line train is finally taking off on April 26th after a 2.5-year wait due to timing issues with the crossing gates. The line will have 8 stops between Union Station and Ward Road in Wheat Ridge. Meanwhile, residents along the A-Line, which took off 3 years ago, are concerned about noise. Natasha, what do you make of these?
Well, I think if you're planning to use the G-Line to commute, or if you're going to live next to the A-Line, you shouldn't get rid of your downtown parking pass or your earplugs. They're going to be necessary potentially for a long time. Delays are going to happen with projects this big. When you dream this big, it's an important connection. Putting West Denver coming into Union Station, as we're looking at opening day for the Rockies, this is the type of thing that really makes a city more vibrant as we connect every part of it together. What's interesting is, though, that there is no fast tracks. There is no building any of these lines quickly anymore, and I think that's a lesson going forward. We still have more lines planned out. I'm sure there are plenty of people in the Denver Metro who wish they were connected by a commuter rail line. So this is something that is going to be continuing to be a long process for putting together all parts of the Metro.
And John, as a former RTD board member, I'm guessing you have some opinions on this.
The former RTD board chairman, I ran the campaign against Guide the Ride back in 1997 and, of course, a silly fast tracks proposal. And we're getting exactly what the Independence Institute's Randall O'Toole predicted. It's twice over budget. It is massively underfunded. It is more dangerous than ever. It has killed people because they've had to put in at-grade crossings to save money. And more importantly, sadly, the mark of fast tracks on the city is endless traffic. When you take $7 billion out of the tax pool to put towards a project that carries not even 1% of the traveling public, it's no wonder. When you look at fast tracks, do not look at the pretty train as it goes by. Look at the tracks when nothing's on it. That is the waste of fast tracks. It's like looking at a lane of traffic that you're not allowed to drive on. $7 billion of transportation money could have solved lots of infrastructure problems in this city. And as soon as the bonding is done on all this stuff, you're going to see the rewinding of this in the future as autonomous vehicles need more bus lanes and more smart lanes. It's sad to see Denver and getting conned to buy 100-year-old technology that's already out of date.
Eric, opinions on G-Line starting up finally?
Well, speaking of technology, I'm befuddled by RTD's difficulties with the crossing technology. Last I looked, trains were not exactly new technology. We had trains before we had automobiles, and we've had railroad crossings forever. And yes, I understand this is all automated and high-tech and computerized, but there ought to be a way that you can get this technology so it is not as tricky as it apparently is for RTD, which has caused the endless crossing guards, make work projects along the A-line and the endless delays now on the G-Line. RTD is never going to win, at least that I've seen lately, a Good Neighbor Award, particularly if you live anywhere near any of these lines. I do think a thriving metropolis probably needs rail as part of its transit solution. John's point is not lost on me that it is a zero-sum game, and if you're spending the money here, you're not spending the money here. I'm not necessarily opposed to rail, but by God, RTD has not covered itself in glory in how it has carried forth these projects.
Ed, when the G-Line finally gets running, will it have a smoother ride than the A-Line has so far?
I suspect. Let's not forget, RTD is piloting some first-in-the-nation technology with this wireless technology it's using. And let's not forget, the big problem with the rail line crossings now is not that they're coming up too early and putting lives in danger. They're coming up, they're coming down too early, which means people just have to wait a little longer on these things. I think RTD is going to get this figured out. It's taken longer than anyone would have wanted, absolutely. But I think this is an important moment to have this line open too. You've got some really big economic possibilities here. Arvada is building a downtown that is vibrant, that is safe, which is not what you can say about all of downtown Denver anymore, and should really be able to attract people to it. it if they have an easy form of transportation to get out there. And meanwhile, you have Wheat Ridge, which is actually building around its stop a primary office park to house outdoor recreation companies, which could give a suburb a big shot of primary employment and frankly cut down on some of the traffic that's going into the city, whether people use the rail line or not. So I think this is a good moment. Yeah, it's been a long time getting here, 2 years longer than we expected, but at least at this moment, I think there's some benefits to this.